Welcome back to New Cammack. In the last session, our gang visited Camp Moonlight. Darby resolved a pre-existing frenzy by finding a bear and punching it to death, after which Augustin adopted its orphaned cub. Following that, a disturbing oracular vision led Excavo to find a body in the Camp Moonlight well, assumed to be the missing Brujah named Barry Bilson, which had a strange fungus covering its face and chest. Now, their plan is to go to the Tremere chantry, or chantry, it's inconsistently pronounced, in the hopes that the blood sorcerers that they find there can help wake the body.
Darby, this one time, you have permission for me, since it's a medical emergency. You may drive up to 5 miles above the speed limit.
And I think like halfway through that command, Darby is flooring it. Like, yeah, finally unleash the beast. We are cooking.
Seatbelts.
Yeah, if you're not strapped in, you just got a rude awakening. And I think I'm no longer taking directions from Augustin. I clearly remember where we've been and am gleefully taking the road less traveled, using my drive ability to find the clear and open road so we can floor it alarmingly quickly back to the Tremere chantry.
Darby, as you drive, you see flashing lights behind you.
Darby,
I'm gonna try to lose them. My first instinct, my first instinct, unless somebody tries to talk me out of this, is to immediately begin a chase. Please remind me what kind of vehicle that we are in.
You are in the black Cadillac Escalade that the guards that originally kidnapped you and brought you to New Cammack, one of them left with you.
Perfect. Yeah, I am ready to go. So as soon as the lights turn on, I start accelerating. So however the other people in the car react to that.
Darby,
Yeah,
can I tell you just this one thing real
I'm
quick?
not going back in.
No,
I'm not going back in.
Darby, listen to me, please.
I want to make it out
Swear to God.
alive. I
Listen
mean,
to me.
kind of alive. I mean, however
Please.
alive I can be.
Please listen to me, Darby. You gotta gun it. First off, the police are an unjust authority that we should and should not submit to. And secondly, they cannot catch us because we have like 5 dead bodies in here if you count ourselves.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that, and I knew there's a reason you were the boss.
Let me do the thinking, you do the driving.
Hell yeah.
Hit the nitrous if we have. I don't know if we have nitrous, but this
We
would be a
don't,
great time
but
to have it.
you got something
nitrous in
almost
an
as good.
Escalade.
You got barbecue sauce.
I buckle up myself,
That
and I
sounds
buckle in the bear
awful.
cub next to me, and I'm like
Aw.
physically bracing the bear cub in its seat to like keep it from rocking around too much.
That is
It
very
is a very
sweet.
small child
Baby's
seat.
first car chase.
And while like a normal human would not be able to do anything against the forces of inertia and gravity, a vampire might actually be able to help in the event of a car wreck. So I'm trying to lose him. I don't know. I am like I'm probably asking Jade if there's any particular place that she probably thinks this is such a stupid idea. I'm like, hey, what do you think? I'm trying to lose these motherfuckers.
I think I'm going to try and turn them somewhere else. I can hack in to their police radio and tell them that there is a worse worse case somewhere
A
else.
bigger chase.
Excavo, give me a perception plus investigation check.
Oh gosh. First
Perception plus
the
investigation check
premier
to get
roll.
more information about who's currently behind your vehicle.
perception plus what?
Investigation.
The premier roll.
That's pretty good. That's 4 successes on 4 dice. Not bad.
It's like the most you can have, right?
So yeah, what does she learn?
Excavo glances back and sees that you're flooring it, trying to outrace an ambulance.
C'est une emergency. Ambulance. Yes.
So
Other vehicles are pulling over,
C'est une ambulance.
getting out of the way, though.
So me, what with the driving expertise, just all right. Okay, no, yeah. Still gunning it. I'm not fucking around.
I shake you from behind. Ambulance! Stop!
And
A hat!
I think I just embarrassingly try to get on some side streets, like I meant to do this the whole time, and. Like the traffic's bad up here. If you don't get on this one quick enough, and I'm just like trying to play it off and getting out of the getting out of the path of the ambulance and continuing my way hastily to the Tremere shop.
You pull over to the side of the road and you let the ambulance pass you.
No, I want to continue to accelerate and then like kind of fly into a hard left turn.
Yeah. So just get out of the way. And
just
just keep going. Is that your plan?
no. What I don't want to do, and I want to be very clear about this, is notice or look at oncoming traffic at all. I swing hard left and just.
You're going to get us all killed again!
While I'm prevaricating and trying to play off as if I had a plan for this the whole time, I am just really recklessly trying to like swerve out of traffic. And so there's an
like
element,
pulling
okay.
so there's a U-turn
It's
to
not
get
a U-turn.
out of the lane that
yeah.
the ambulance is in.
It's not a U-turn. It is just like a left against oncoming traffic. I'm imagining this is like a 2-lane opposed street, and I'm turning just left against oncoming traffic onto another road, like not pulling a U-turn, but like a 90-degree left,
Right. Wait.
like whipping it.
Wait.
Okay, so like not slowing down, but
Yeah.
pulling a left at an intersection
Yeah,
is what Darby is doing.
If I could,
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
if I could add an element of drifting to this, I would like to do that. I'm not sure if that is like just a style thing or a degree of difficulty, but yeah, I would like to be drifting sideways through this corner for a full 90-degree turn without regard to oncoming traffic.
Roll wits plus drive.
Roll the dice.
All right, I'm gonna need.
We're all rolling the dice on this one, aren't we?
My character sheet.
If you get no successes, I believe car will skid to a stop in the path of the speeding ambulance behind you.
Why are we doing this?
Because I can't fucking help myself.
I don't
I'm
know.
sorry. Like this
I'm
is just like
literally
this is
shaking
who I
you right
am.
now. Just stop.
Do I get any kind of bonuses to this, or is this straight up?
No.
All right.
I thought these been the DM, and I'm like, no.
G-forces on this would require that the bear cub be
1,
It'll-
2, 3, 4, 5. 5 successes out of 8 dice.
For what it's worth, I did buckle in the bear, and I am also holding the bear, like, maternally, desperately trying to cover the bear with my body.
you successfully pull off an extremely dangerous move in traffic without hitting anyone or flipping the car or stalling in the middle of the intersection and causing the ambulance behind you to collide with it. And you're on your merry way. Probably gave the driver of the ambulance quite a scare. But
There is also an element, and I think I want to roll for this because I'd like it to take effect, of deception. Because I want everyone else to think that this is what I had intended all along. That this was really my plan, and that this madness that they have just lived through, that
Difficulty of
they
8?
believe that this was my intention from the jump. It is important to my pride.
I'm going to say that that is charisma plus subterfuge.
Okay. Wow. All right. That's unorthodox.
This is your driving swagger.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that is because you got so many successes and it was pulled off so perfectly. I'm going to say that this is at a reduced difficulty of 5.
Okay. Excellent.
And because this is essentially a social role and those are discouraged against PCs, it's difficult to say that you convince your fellow player characters of something. We're going to say if you succeed in this role, the Bear Cub and Jade are absolutely convinced that this is what you were doing this whole time.
Jade's opinion probably matters not most, because I think I do have an authority thing and I very much want to impress the prince, but I think it matters a lot. So I think that would be good enough. So I have 4
about the
charisma.
second in line?
I have 0 subterfuge at all, so I will be rolling 4 dice on this.
Impress the prince, but not the essential.
No, this is all of the PCs can choose to believe Darby. They're encouraged to, but I don't like the style of you are forced to believe this because the role has.
Yeah.
Usually it's supernatural effects that would force a PC character to believe something or feel something.
It's just saying rolling the dice, ... Oh, there we go. I got a success. I got 2 successes at difficulty 5. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. So you guys take that for what you will, but the PCs are the non-player characters are noticeably impressed.
Oh, there they are.
Gee willikers, Darby. That was fantastic. You're like a regular Racer X.
Jade leans back in her seat and goes, "Whoa, I would have just pulled over, but that was way cooler. Do you do that all the time?"
Yeah, pretty much. Don't worry about it.
I turn back to Jade and I'm like, doesn't he remind you of a young Bobby Labonte?
The Bear Cub makes a really excited face and leans up to Augustin and makes kind of Ewok sounds. And you get the impression it's basically the same thing that Jade said.
How is Augustin reacting? Because I think this is kind of important to Darby.
I have just been unintelligibly be damned! What? At every jerk and nook and acceleration. Even if you're not turning hard, every time you were slamming the gas, I could feel my face pressing against the back of the headrest. Just going, ah!
To be fair, you also do that at regular 4-way traffic stops.
So
I forgot to mention
You would
this,
do
but
that if you were driving.
I forgot to mention this, but on a botch, the airbags would have deployed.
Oh man, I may have used my lucky to have undone that. If that was
that would have been just so devastating to his ego.
This seriously, I think of everything that I've attempted, and he's kind of just taken some L's because it was a little embarrassing how hard it was to feed. That got turned into a whole kerfluffle. I think he needed a win. He had just seen Augustin walk off with a girl. Nothing was going right in Darby's world at all. And
it was just devastating for him.
I don't have one.
yeah. He couldn't. His whole worldview was shaken, and now everything finally seems right in the world. Especially if there's a gleam in Jade's eye, because he really wants to impress her. He wants to be a sire role model, as ill-suited as he is for that. That's his current goal.
Okay, so you successfully get through that intersection and thwart that dastardly ambulance on its way to, save someone. And you are on your way through town to the chantry. About a half mile later, see flashing lights behind you again.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
Is
I
this
feel
police?
one thing I want to clarify is after this maneuver, at no point was I slowing down. So we have been in fleeing from the law mode ever since the first set of flashing lights. which makes sense that we may have attracted additional attention. But yeah, I feel like by this juncture, I am maxing it out. I'm not sure how far we are away from the chantry at this point, but we are flying.
The space between the chantry and Camp Moonlight is actually pretty substantial. Camp Moonlight is in the southeastern side of New Cammack, and the chantry is in the northern side of New Cammack, so you have to cross most of the city. So you have a couple miles to get there.
All right.
You notice the cars ahead of you all pulling over to the side of the road.
Perfect. I think that's giving me enough of a runway to be at maximum velocity.
Excavo, want to give me another perception plus investigation roll, or?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make it clear that I would not be interested in rolling that.
Or would you just turn around and look out the back of the vehicle like you did before?
Why not both?
Nice. Damn.
You were really good at turning around and looking out the back.
Seriously.
And seeing that it's an ambulance again.
It's an ambulance again. What? Get out of the fucking way.
And it's
Oh my god.
It's keeping up with you. Ambulances also feel like they have license to floor it through the city.
So yeah, I think me and this ambulance, now that I hear that, I'm like, I know. I'm just like, we are riding traffic together. Because it seems like I am close enough to be absorbing its parting the Red Sea effect on traffic. We are going as fast as possible, which is what Darby wants to be happening. So I think we're putting this motherfucker in cruise control, and we are like, we're letting it happen.
Darby seems like he would not want to use cruise control.
We got ourselves a convoy.
He
He
seems
only
like he'd wanna
cruises at
drift
maximum
behind the
velocity,
ambulance.
Archibald. I only got one speed. That's top speed.
Just get out of the way of the ambulance.
So you go all the way across the city, all the way to the Tremere Chantry. And this ambulance follows you all the way there. And it parks a respectable distance, maybe like 20 feet behind you.
Everyone, holster up, strap up. I think these guys might be hostile. Let's go say what's up. That's an order from your sheriff.
Can I ask a quick question? What's the range on my level 2 presence skill, my dread gaze?
The range on it. I don't. It's worth looking up. I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up.
I think that you just have to be visible, but.
Looking at the. Okay. I think so. What I'm looking at is. I just frighten foes by revealing my true vampiric nature, which seems like they would just need to be looking at me or something.
Revealing vampiric nature, isn't that kind of an Augustine thing?
Real damn cute, Darby. I like your snark.
No, I was just imagining a scenario where, if a car was coming close to crashing into us, then I would fear the people away with a weird scare shield. I don't know.
I
you trying
feel
to
like
scare
if
a
the
car?
drivers could see you, it would definitely terrify someone on who is driving. That may not work out the way that you want it to.
Yeah, but anyway, I guess we're here now, so I'll just keep that in my back pocket.
The ambulance starts driving up toward your car really slowly, and it pulls out like it's going to pass you. And it's driving up alongside you, and it slows down, and there are two paramedics, one in the driver's seat, one in the passenger seat, and and they're looking down in like on the. They're looking down like they're looking at the console on the inside of the ambulance, and they're looking back at you. And there are two guys inside, and they look like normal dudes. They're like tall, athletic. They're dressed. They're paramedics, and they look at you, and they're giving you this kind of awkward look, and they're giving you sort of an awkward smile. And the driver gives you this sort of wave, and the guy in the passenger seat says, "Hey, hi guys. Is there anyone in medical distress in your vehicle?"
At this point, I have unbuckled the bear cub, and I'm like actively holding it. And what kind of environment is around the car?
It's worth noting that they're probably addressing Darby, and also the windows are tinted. They're just looking at Darby. You've pulled up in front of the chantry. Are you talking about the neighborhood, the surroundings, and all
Yeah,
that?
what are the surroundings like?
Like, how many plants are there?
You want to count the
Hiding
seeds?
places.
Let's count the daisies.
Have they seen the bear cub? Can they see
No,
anything in our
they have
vehicle?
not seen anything. No.
They're looking at Darby.
They're looking at me only, and so I think I turn to them, and I think it's like, I'm sorry. Why would you ask us that?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, we're just doing a random vehicle welfare check. We're just in the neighborhood.
Seems legit.
So everyone in the vehicle is fine. Answering Augustine's question, the picture that I just threw up, that's the Tremere chantry. The neighborhood, all the houses are pretty big and tall, and they're all also pretty spaced out. There's a lot of tree coverage, so it's a pretty dark neighborhood. All the houses are pretty spaced out. There aren't really people walking around. There are streetlights spaced out pretty far apart.
Okay.
The driver leans over to the paramedic in the passenger seat and says, "Hey, we have another call we gotta go do. We gotta go to now. It's the heart attack guy. He's the guy who has the heart attacks. He's back at it again. So Perry, we gotta move."
Well, it sounds like you guys got some important business to get to, so sorry about the confusion. Y'all have a nice night.
And they both look at each other, and they look kind of confused, and they look down, and then they look over at your car, and they're like, "Okay, yeah, we're sorry to bother you." And then they look up at the chantry, and they go, "All right, yeah, you folks have a good night." And they put it into gear, and they drive the ambulance away.
Well, that was weird. That was weird, right?
I think they were
they were
more
casing the
aware of what
joint.
was going on than what they let on to know.
Yeah.
I feel like they knew about Barry.
You might as well
But-
tell your wizard buddies that we may have given them up.
Who was taking a gander at that ambulance as it was driving away?
I feel like Darby's got a thing for license plates. If I can establish, I don't have an eidetic memory, but I do want to establish that I, as a car guy, like to glance at license plates.
Andy, you have like an eidetic memory, right? Maybe you should just look at that real quick.
I do.
Just keep that in your brain space.
Well, who else was in the front passenger seat of the car?
I was shotgun, I think.
Does Indiana have rear license plates or front license? Ambulances have license plates in the front, right?
No.
Sure.
I think they have to. Their whole thing is like backwards in the front, so everybody can see them coming. We need to Google
I mean,
this.
they have like lights and alarms for that.
Anyway,
Let's
tell us what we
do
see
one
about-
thing at a time.
Tell us the relevant information that we see about the thing.
Archibald, give me a perception plus investigation check.
Okay.
That's a yikes.
Ooh.
We were due for that.
Oh no.
Can I try?
I didn't wear my glasses today.
Excavo, give it a shot. Was that no successes for Archibald?
That was actually a botch.
It was a botch and no successes. Very bad.
What is happening?
Also a
God,
botch
seriously.
for Excavo.
Yikes!
What
That's
is
a
happening?
worse botch.
Archibald, you're pretty
I was
sure
fine- I
that
was
that
fine
was.
earlier.
You're
Basically,
pretty sure the
based on,
two
like, the roll.
paramedics were actually driving around an ice cream truck, and it was rude of them not to offer any ice cream.
Right. Good.
Excavo, you're pretty sure that an ambulance was being driven around by two ice cream men, and you think it's strange that they didn't offer any ice cream.
All right, I'm gonna try this roll. I am bad at this. There is no way that I have very many dice for this.
There you
Yeah.
There you go.
Darby, you notice that that was an unmarked ambulance. It had no identification on it, designating it as coming from any specific hospital. Usually an ambulance would have like a specific hospital's name and logo on it, but not this one. It didn't have any writing on the outside of it.
I knew it.
Was
Yeah.
a
Yeah, there's something
knew it.
off
That's
book
what I was
about
saying.
that
That-
ambulance. What,
that's-
If they
Excavo,
were
you
trying
don't
to-
even know Excavo. I gotta tell you before you know what you're talking about.
Well, you told me, and now I know.
Did I? Look at your botched ass roll. You don't know shit.
I know
That's
we're in
what
like
I knew before
Did
you
I-
told me what I should know.
As they were driving away, did I happen to glance at their ice cream truck's license plate?
You want to try
with your
roll?
botched roll?
That could actually be a perception plus investigation check.
Oh, you're
5
letting
to
him
10.
roll again. Very, very kind.
No, I've never rolled, so I have.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
Actually, a perception plus alertness roll, which for you would be 3 plus. You have 7 dice.
Wow.
Yeah, if I were using alertness, it would have been 7 for me.
But I wasn't actively looking at it.
It's different. It's different for eidetic. This is specifically eidetic memory.
So I at least have 5 successes.
Yeah. So many.
Oh.
You know the license plate number for this ambulance, and you can give it to Excava, who I think could do something with it.
Hey, I happen to. That ice cream truck seemed mad suspicious. Digital
Wait a minute.
friend.
Wait. Did you have a good enough perception that you did memorize the license plate, but you also think it's an ice cream truck?
Who want the damn ice cream?
The
You
the
looking
whole.
very
Tried to
specifically at the
roll,
license
right?
plate.
Or no, he
I did not.
he did not actually try to roll to identify.
I was
anything
so
about the
distracted. I was so distracted by the chase and the flashing lights that I was mostly focused on the bear. And so
ambulance.
the fact
And
that I
the
saw
license plate.
the fact that I saw the license plate is just kind of a passive thing. But I wasn't really paying attention to the vehicle itself. So in my head, I just I heard someone murmur "fucking ice cream truck," and I was just like, that was what that was, obviously.
Listen, it wasn't an ice cream truck. It wasn't really an ambulance. There's something weird about that, and there was something weird about those guys. Why don't you try to track them down?
I'll tell you what's weird is that I know we're in a hurry here with Barry, but
You just
I
give me the
personally
license
could
plate.
go for some Cherry Garcia.
Y'all eat a lot for people.
I
that can't
know,
eat.
like we keep making food jokes and we really shouldn't. It's very out of character, but I think it's funny, so I'm gonna keep doing it.
It's very insensitive to Jade, who until very recently could eat and now cannot.
So do you give me the license plate number?
I do.
Okay. Alright, there is a license plate lookup. I punch in the number.
It's on
I
licenseplatelookup.com.
Something.
I believe this is something that is not public information, and you will have to.
Message me?
Is this actually... I'm going to say for the purposes of this game, you will have to utilize some of those dots that you have on your character sheet to look up this information.
These dots? Okay.
You'll have to roll to get this information.
What do you want me to roll?
Computers plus intelligence. Because otherwise, anyone can do this, and then Excalvo isn't special. And that's no fun. You have to hack. You have to look up a BMV database thing or something.
Hack the Gibson.
Crash the mainframe.
Rolling. 3.
That license is registered to the driver, whose first name is Perry, who owns the ambulance as a private vehicle and is registered at an address in Chesapeake, Virginia.
I share this with the group.
His last name...
Dig in.
His last
What's
name
his
is...
last
It's spelled Meddik.
Nedick?
Yes.
Perry Nedick? Like Perry Medic?
I say paramedic. I feel like they would have had to explain it to me because English is not my first language.
Darby doesn't get it.
Medic. Is that
where
like,
does he live?
Is that like
The registration goes back to an address in Chesapeake, Virginia.
At this point, I'm like looking around to make sure no other strange vehicles have come up, and I'm starting to like assess the task of unloading Barry out of our vehicle because dude's mostly dead. We should,
Seeing as how you're not the carrion type, to try to emasculate you, I go and
we're all
pick
carrion types.
up Barry.
We're all carrion types
this.
if you think about it.
I carry these.
Because we're like dead body. We're corpses,
Wow. Carrion.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, man!
No, I got there. I hated it. The
It's
whole
like
time.
it's like a pun joke.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Loved it.
Thank you.
putting them English chops to work there.
When it comes to body part jokes, that was awful.
Oh, stop it. So I am hoisting this corpse right out from Augustine's arms and into the chantry.
As you walk up to the chantry, you see on your right a dazzling array of colored lights flashing through the curtains of the parlor on the ground floor. It looks like a rave is taking place in that room, with sweeping lights, strobes, and laser effects passing across the windows in a multitude of colors. Except, you hear no music coming from inside.
Am I in front?
You're walking up to the building.
All right. Well, I got this dude hoisted under my arm, his feet are just getting dragged, but I want it to look as normal as possible. And I just knock on the front door. I don't live here.
Augustine's with, right? Tremere.
Yeah, he's behind us.
I kind of give Darby a sideways glance and knock at the door. Only after he has rang the doorbell already and just fucking.
Oh, yeah, that did it.
You knock on the weird door knocker, the gargoyle-looking thing with the ring in its mouth, and you hear the shuffling of feet, and someone walks up to the door and opens it up, and a short, waddling male revenant with a pointed head and protruding eyes greets you. "Salutations, gentle friends. How may I happenstance your service?"
I do not like real Bert.
Yeah, seriously, where's Ernie?
My good man, my compatriots and I require some aid. I would kindly request access to your facilities, please.
I've seen Slender Man. It's fine.
"Being of not inside, may please." and he gestures into the chantry.
I go right in. This was our plan, so I follow the little mutant.
I hope you are invited.
Yeah, same here, bud.
Yeah, I follow the lead he gave and walk in that direction.
What are you in needing?
Our soon-to-be-known, currently unknown compatriot has a malady beyond the likes of which my expertise can conquer. I'm seeking the aid of my more direct brethren to assist in bringing him back to good health so that we might deduce the nature of his circumstances.
Oh, I understand you more than I even know. Where might he be?
I kind of gesture lazily at the unconscious sack of potatoes that Darby is wielding.
Darby just like holds him up.
There
you go.
The short revenant waddles over to Darby and starts like patting him on the chest. Yes, we will get him in working order soon.
Not me, you dumb goddamn. No, this one. Get the torped one. Get here. I just like drop the corpse on Ernie's or Bert's head.
Oh, how untoward.
I was just passing it to you.
And he starts petting the body on the fungus on its face. And he just keeps going, strange.
Yeah,
This one
I
has...
put a gentle hand on his wrist as if to suggest that he stop. My good man, perhaps you should alert those who might be of more direct assistance.
Oh, that's anyone. He goes back to...
I put my hand back on his wrist. Except you.
Yes. Accept me, please. Please. No one else will.
Do we see anyone else in the building? Anyone around? At all?
There's
Wait.
just an apparent rave happening in the parlor, in the adjacent room.
Did Excavo and I go inside?
I did.
Oh, you went?
Presumably,
I guess
presumably,
I was just hanging out. Okay, I'll go in too.
presumably the whole party, including Jade and
Jade.
the bear cub,
Okay.
are all in
Cool.
in the entry room. He says, Master Leslie is quadrangled with his studies and asked us not to be disturbing.
Is he in the room over there with all the lights?
No, Lady Elizabeth dwells presently in the parlor. And he gestures toward the parlor, where the doors cracked open a couple inches to reveal colored lights flashing around in the room.
Can I slyly kind of go walk towards it without bringing too much attention to myself and peek in to see if I check out Lady Elizabeth? Not check out in a pervert way, but check out in
Would we know what she
see
looks
who
like?
she is. Yeah, I said that.
Yeah,
bad.
would we know what she looks like? Would Augusta know what she looks like?
No one has
Yeah, we
seen
haven't
her.
seen her.
So we wouldn't know what she looks like.
That's
Yeah,
why he
so
wants to
I'm
look
trying
at
to.
her.
So I'm trying to look and see.
So when you perv into the room, you
As I do. That's how I enter every room.
Classic.
Actually,
You
that's
see-
how Augustin enters every room. But...
you see a DJ booth has been set up on one side of the room with an array of lights on raised stands and a fog machine on the floor. Two cables stretch from the booth to a pair of headphones worn by a man and a woman in the center of the room. The woman is sitting in the couch, limp, and her entire face below her eyes is covered in still wet blood. And The man is standing over her and looking intently into her face as he carefully takes her headphones off and then his own. The two notice you perving into the room and turn to face you. You actually recognize the man as...
Is it Jeffrey?
Jeffrey, who performs as DJ Ray Ray at Club Wonderland and who served as the city's harpy under Prince Delacroix. The harpy being the vaguely defined authority over the Camarilla social world, who also keeps official records of debts owed. The man asks, who are all of... Oh, Jade. And I recognize you. You were all with Prince Delacroix on his final night here. He goes over to the DJ booth and he turns off all the colored lights, and then he flips on a light switch on the wall and all the normal lights come back on. A fog machine on the floor hisses out one last puff of smoke and then turns off. The woman says, oh, then one of you must be our new prince. You realize the woman has been crying, and the blood on her face is the tears that have been and still are streaming down her face. Oh my God. How embarrassing.
When she says that, I like nod my head over to Archibald, like real not classy, like just like, hey, he's a prince, you know, just like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's this guy.
That. Oh, how embarrassing.
Ray Ray, so good to see you again, and you must be Lady Elizabeth? Archibald, the new prince. Nice to meet you.
She says, I'm sorry, I'm Elizabeth Blackburn, Tremere. Pleased to meet, all of you.
Yes, let me introduce you to my associates, Darby, Augustin, Excavo, Jade, Bear Cub. Weighted name, Bear Cub.
Darby awkwardly curtsies.
She pulls out a black handkerchief out of her pocket and starts cleaning up her face. Oh, it's a delight to meet all of you. Archibald, you are our new prince?
Indeed.
Oh, well, it's a delight to meet you at last.
So wonderful to meet you too, and we hate to disturb the party uninvited, but we're having a bit of, we'll say, medical trouble. I know Leslie's quadrangled right now, but we could really appreciate some blood magic users to take a look at our friend here.
We heard y'all knew some secrets of the mystical ways, sir, and that they might be able to help our associate that we located.
Yes. I mean, that is what we do. Tell me who is injured and why can they not heal themselves? What is the situation and how might we
bring
be
him
able
in?
to
Where
assist?
is he?
Well, we found, you may be familiar with this guy. His name was Barry, we think. And he's covered in a weird fungus. We found him in a well, you see. He's a bit unresponsive. You see, we're trying to kind of sort out some mysteries. We've got a little Scooby-Doo situation going on. And we found our body.
Barry Bilson. Yes,
that's
he's a
right.
Brujah here. You found him in a well, and he...
Darby, it might be easier to just show them. Do you have Barry,
well, I
right?
gave him to that little guy out there. I'll go get him.
Magic.
God
I had
damn
this
it.
vision, and I saw him at the bottom
So
of his
I
well.
go out to the
And we
Revenant.
had
Has
to go
he
and
done
get
anything
him.
weird with the body?
The Revenant is still petting Barry in the face and going, is sort of like purring.
I somewhat roughly shove him aside, like just hey, stop. God damn, just hey,
Would you
quit
like
it.
for me to comb it?
Stop! I want you to stop. I want you to stop touching it, and I'm gonna take it back. And I backhand him.
He scurries and.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You listen. You listen when I talk to you, you little shit. And I pick up the body and I take it back in there.
So you bring the body into the parlor?
I bring it to her, and I where do you want to look at it?
She's in the parlor, and she.
Yeah, so I take it to the parlor.
Yeah. She goes, oh my. Well, yes, he appears to be in torpor. What is all over him?
I don't know, but that little crusty doorman was getting all up in it, and I hope it doesn't spread.
Oh,
Crusty.
I don't know. I don't know what this is all over him. It appears to be some sort of plant material, but I wouldn't really know anything about it.
Augustine, can you help me here?
Captain Tree over here has a report, I think.
I have
Captain
managed to
Planted.
secure a couple samples and
Didn't
diffused
plant it.
Jesus Christ.
That's so good. Wow. Oh, I love that.
Rename the show.
Yes.
After retrieving the body from the well, I was able to secure a couple samples and deduce that it was fungal in nature. So slightly outside of my expertise, but it is fungal in nature and seems to demonstrate capacity for non-vital matter, which is unknown to much of the plant world. Do you happen to have facilities I might use to examine this phenomenon further? And is there anyone here who knows blood magic who might be of use?
Well, yeah. We are Tremere, so all of us?
Yeah.
Well, -1. I
Darby
cannot.
just rolled his eyes when he said that out loud. Just like, Jesus.
I was like,
all right.
yeah, I was kind of like, wait, what?
But yes, we have facilities. We can give you laboratory facilities. Anything that you need while you are in the city. Of course, this is a chantry, so really any kind of work
I just kind of like make a slightly impatient gesture, like, okay, then lead me there.
Okay.
Again, sorry to impose. I just kind of like lean at it. So sorry to impose.
Can y'all make pseudoephedrine?
Oh my god.
I believe there's a trailer park somewhere probably on the south side of town that might be able to help you with that.
Excavo had to look that up to know what it was.
Oh, it's the thing that you make meth from.
Yeah.
I watched Breaking
Sudafed?
Bad.
But Augustine, you need laboratory facilities right now in order to revive.
With all due haste, not necessarily for the betterment of this gentleman. For him, we need somebody to help bring him back to
What's the
his.
fungus?
We need to bring him back to his waking state, and however you purport we approach such an endeavor is neither hither nor thither. You may approach that with whatever caution or lack thereof you may, but I would like to examine this fungus in a laboratory setting.
May I speak to you in another room privately?
I lean over to Darby as they're walking out, and I just kind of whisper, like, I always really consider myself to be kind of socially awkward, but I know it's only been like one day, but I'm learning to have a lot of confidence in myself, just like comparatively.
I gotta tell you, I haven't known a lot of princes, but I think you're crushing it, man. You're doing
Darby.
a great job.
Darby, you are the best sheriff in the whole wide world.
I don't think so. Like, this whole place is going to hell in a handbasket, and there ain't a lot of order in the West. You hear?
Hey, we're figuring out. And hey, you heard what those campers said about that Tabato gang, right?
Augustine. And she takes Augustine She takes Augustine into the next
Get
room.
out.
Have
Get
you
out here.
studied the path of blood? Can you lay your hands on someone else and make them spend their blood however you wish?
Alas, despite the encouragement of our clansmen,
No.
Sounds like a no. Well, all of the rest of us who live in the chantry can do that. We consider it basic training. I can do this for Barry. I suspect this is Barry. His face is horrifically not visible under whatever this fungus is. Have you tried to just scrape the fungus off? I suppose it would just fall off once he comes to. I can do this for him. Typically, if someone falls into torpor, if they fall into torpor from damage, they lose consciousness. This consciousness comes back after a period of time that varies depending on how in touch with their own humanity they are. But once that consciousness comes back, they can heal themselves with their own blood and then gradually come to. We found that we can use this power of ours to force them to heal their own wounds, and if their body is healed, that consciousness comes back faster, which seems kind of obvious that it would work that way. It doesn't always work perfectly, and I have a theory that a sort of vampiric smelling salts can be developed. I've been working on it, but I think it depends on some botanical ritual components that I haven't been able to develop myself effectively. But anyway, I can lay my hands on Barry and try to heal all of his wounds for him, and that might revive him. It will require tremendous expenditure of effort and blood from me, but I can try.
my good friend, that is exactly what I was looking for. Although I would also go further and still ask that eventually I am allowed laboratory facilities to examine this here fungal infestation. However,
What's yours?
in exchange for your efforts, I would be more than happy to assist in the development of these botanical components in which you desire. I am somewhat of an aficionado of plants, as my friends would allege.
What friends?
I
I love
love
that we're all listening in.
I love seeing Augustine just search for a synonym to every single word that he says.
And verbs.
Just like he's there with a thesaurus in his brain, trying to figure out a different word than what comes naturally.
I'm going to start putting subtitles for Augustine in the videos.
Like, what
What does
is...
it mean? I'm speaking a different language.
I honestly I can't look at any one thing. I just kind of have to look into space. It does not come easy. I don't know how you do it, friend.
Okay. Well, I'll give it a shot. Do you have any insight into this fungus? I've never seen a fungus growing on one of us before.
By and long, the information is unclear at best. He was discovered through an ocular vision from our compatriot Excavo and found at the bottom of a well. Apparently, a whole host of sample bodies have been consuming water that has been marinating this man's unconscious body for weeks, and undesired effects have ensued. So it is, I would assume, to some level water, but I concur that fungal growths do not have a propensity to develop on our kind. So I would almost theorize that it is supernatural in nature.
Well, I've personally not heard of a supernatural plant before, or supernatural fungus, as case may be.
It's just a working theory. For what it's worth, you shouldn't come to harm in bringing him back to a waking state. I did take a sample and smear it upon one of our compatriots, and they seem no more awful than they were before I did that. I was curious.
Okay, well, please don't do that to me. So she walks back into the parlor, and she says to Darby, would you mind laying him out on the table? Nodding to Barry.
Yeah, Darby complies willingly.
She lays her hands on Barry, and she looks at the fungus that's on Barry's face and chest and gives it kind of a suspicious, disgusted look. And she starts gesturing in magical ways, and she starts muttering these incantations. You can see that she's expending a bunch of effort, and you see little shifts in Barry's body. It's not exactly that he's moving, as in like his muscles are moving and he's animated. It's that it looks like maybe bones are mending and things are shifting around in his body. Internal injuries might be getting mended. And there's something different happening around his face that you can see. If you look really closely, you may have remembered in the last session, I mentioned that the fungus that's on his face, right around the edges, you could see that the fungus it looked like it had eaten away at his flesh into the bone, and that right at the edges where the fungus met his skin, there was like a sharp edge where the skin stopped and the fungus began. Mm-hmm. As Elizabeth Blackburn is doing this, you see that skin start to grow back and start to push up at the fungus and start to fill in and push the fungus up. And as she's doing this, she appears to finish, and she lets go of Barry, and you see the fungus start to move and kind of undulate and start to sink back into his flesh and start to eat away at it and start to dig in at his bone, and it sets back into his face a little deeper than it was before. And you could once again see the edge around the fungus, and you could see a little bit of his exposed bone, and you could see a little deeper where it's eaten into his eye socket and his nose and his mouth. And it once again looks like his face is being eaten by this.
With a mild tinge of alarm, I glance around and see if there's anything scrapey, like a flat surface, a credit card, a library card, a key, anything.
2 Tontos?
2 Tontos. I remember that I have 2 Tontos with my picture perfect memory, and
it's weird. You remember them very quickly whenever there's an innocent human to murder.
I pull one out and just start desperately in the spots where I see the fungus deepening. Try and downright scrape the fucking fungus off, and like just remove it from his body. And I'm doing it with such a hurry that like I'm scraping and then just kind of like whipping the fungus onto the floor to clear the blade, and then coming back for another scooping scrape. Does this seem to have any impact on his state?
It's coming off of him.
The spots where I'm removing it, does he seem to be returning to healing normal, or is it still responding as though the fungus is there?
Without Elizabeth touching him and doing her thing, there is no active healing happening on his face. But in the moments that you're pulling back and looking to see if there's any effect, you do see that the fungus does appear to be actively regrowing.
I start to grow quite alarmed. So the fungus is regrowing in the spots where I'm scraping it, but the fungus that I flung on the ground is still where I left it, yes?
Correct.
Okay. Fuck it. In complete bamboozlement, I sit back in frustration and put one of my tontos away, and I just stare quizzically and quite roused at this unconscious corpse. Does Elizabeth finish what her attempts are?
Augustine, give me an intelligence plus occult roll.
Oh my. Aggregate 1 success.
Augustine just barely remembers that he has a power that kills plants.
I do?
Speed the Seasons Passing can make can make a plant rapidly decay.
Oh Christ! This is the green path. That's one of those abilities.
Okay.
Is fungus a plant, though?
It is not.
I get a -2 to all my green path rolls for that. My befuddlement gives way to determination and
Despite this,
We've house ruled that you can attempt to use all of your green path powers on whatever fungal entities you happen across.
but it's at a -2 difficulty. Or -2 to roll.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to use my Withering Touch thingy-dude.
Speed the Seasons Passing?
Oh, it works in both directions?
Yes, you can make things
Oh.
grow or decay.
Oh, Christ. Okay, then, yeah, abs-fucking-lutely. I'm going to try and wilt the ever-living dog shit out of that.
Your willpower roll to activate thaumaturgy is going to be at a difficulty level of 5.
okay. Copy that.
Aggregate 1 success.
Now roll intelligence plus occult.
Okay. Aggregate 5 successes.
5 successes. You lay your hands on Barry. Did you have... Oh yeah, what were your gestures and incantations? I remember they were interesting.
When trying to manipulate plants rapidly, much like Son Goku or Goken or Trunks or Vegeta, I'd
Here we go with this again.
and I'm just wildly tensing my hands in the general direction of the manipulate.
You do that, all of the mold on the body's face begins to shrivel up, flake off, and float away. Then all of the mold on its chest does the same. As the mold disappears, exposed strips of flesh are revealed where the mold had been eating away the skin. After a few moments, all of the mold has scattered away and is just dust on the floor.
I look over at Darby. Don't huff that.
And I think the look that you're greeted with as you turn around is just stunned surprise. Like, huh. Plants. Wow. You saved that mother. Wow.
Elizabeth leans in and sees the nearly skeletal face stripped of skin on the parlor table, and is like, ugh, and leans in and does her thing again, lays her hands on the body, performs some incantations, and the skin starts to heal and a face starts to emerge over the skull, and it is in fact the face of Barry Bilson, which Jade, who's among you, recognizes. And she says, "It is Barry, but Barry is not moving."
Darby offers Jade a high five, like, you nailed it.
Jade is kind of confused why she's receiving the high five, but she's like, yeah. Elizabeth says, "Okay, well, that was amazing, Augustine. What was that power that you used?
And he goes, I don't know.
Was that the green path?
My good miss, it is the very reason I cannot bend blood. I gave up that opportunity to focus on bending plants. And I just kind of have a moment of, like, self-confidence, just kind of feeling like Dr. House. Chest puffed out, just a total validation.
Just like House.
Limps away.
Well, Augustine,
The end totally justify everything that happened to get us here.
Augustine, it is very rare that we find a practitioner of the green path in these parts. I think there may only be less than a dozen, maybe less than a half dozen practitioners in North America. It would mean a lot if you taught us some of the green path while you were in town and maybe wrote down some of your knowledge while you were here in the chantry.
Alas, my friend, I left behind many of my notes in my, we'll say, unwitting endeavor to arrive here.
He forgets how to spell.
I would be more than happy to educate you in the ways of the green path. However, I would like it to be an equivalent exchange. I do require assistance in reestablishing the center of my speciality, as I had to leave those things behind to come for some purpose here. Would you be agreeable to an exchange?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, we'll assist you with whatever you need.
Then it is done! I will teach you anything you need to know.
Well, first there's the matter of waking Barry. He is healed, but as I said, it's not an automatic matter of his consciousness returning to him.
Darby's poking him just in the background.
It might require something more vigorous to get him to wake. Darby could shake him, perhaps.
Yeah, I was just about to do that, and then
Wait, this
I
is being
give him a
advised?
real vigorous shake back and forth. Not trying to hurt him, but trying to shake him. It would hurt like a baby, but not like a regular sized human. You know?
He could roll, and if he fails, he hurts him.
Maybe it could hurt like a near-death man.
I think one of the mechanics in the game is that you can choose not to, hurt
To kill him
with
more.
your physical activity.
You can pull a punch.
Yeah.
Barry,
So I'm shaking as vigorously as I can.
Barry's just flopping around.
I am trying to make it kind of comical once I realize he's not going to react, and I'm, kind of dancing him around. And
This is not working. What?
I'm just following orders.
This is
Stop
obviously
hitting
not working.
yourself. Stop
Let's
hitting
try something
yourself.
else.
Something that might work. We don't know how long he was at the bottom of that well. Would blood, maybe blood? Give him blood.
He's just saying you
Like
were
give it.
Darby offers, sets him down, and again, for the second time in as many days, opens his veins to a new vampire or a vampire. We'll see what kind of effect this has.
I kind of like, as you're doing that, I push you out of the way. I'm just like, hey, not to be disrespectful, Darby, but yours is a different recipe, and this is one of my guys, so I take it and I do it.
Archibald gives Barry a point of his blood.
Yeah, because we're both Brujah, so I figure it's like a better like blood type matchup or whatever that would be. However, that would work.
How do you get the blood out of you?
I just squeeze really hard.
I offer one
There
of
would
my
have to be a cut somewhere.
contos.
It comes
Like-
out of your butt.
Augustine offers one of his knives to Archibald.
No, I took because Darby already had a knife
Yeah, I
out,
had
so
a
I
knife
imagine
out.
I just kind of like took it from him as I was stopping him, and
Darby
then just
looks
turned it in my own hand.
completely butthurt about this. Like, just like, oh, yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I know he needs a jolt, but maybe methamphetamine is not the direction.
I'm not lit up right now. Damn. Captain Buzzkill over here.
A full point of blood pours into Barry's mouth, and it goes down his throat, and he swallows it reflexively and doesn't move. And then bolts upright with his eyes wide open and says, Who the hell are you? Who the hell are all of you people? Where am I? I gotta talk to Prince Delacroix right away. We got a big problem.
We sure do. And we're going to need to talk.
I got some good news and I got some better news. The good news is you're talking to the prince right over here. The better news is you're no longer torped at the bottom of a well, which is where you've been out at Camp Moonlight.
What day is it, Barry? What day do you believe it is today?
Guys, can we not all yell at him? Barry, take all the time you need, breathe, and we're going to have a bit of a conversation.
The short revenant waddles in. You had a full face beard. And wanders back out. Elizabeth Blackburn says, you were just taken out of torpor. You're going to have to calm down. Don't worry. We're going to take care of you. We have a lot of explaining to do, and I believe you have a lot of explaining to do too. And we're going to end the session right there.
Oh, good timing.
Yeah, boy.
Cliffhanger!
Well, cool. No, I like that.
Any experience point expenditure we want to do?
I currently have 9, which is still not enough to buy that first level of Dominate, so I'm just going to sit tight.
I might, in the same way that I'm like doing the journal entries, like each like in-game night, I might just spend my experience each end-game night because that feels like a good level up time on them.
That's a cool way to do it.
Do I have the XP available to do a point in Animalkin?
That would make sense.
I think that you can't do a second point of Animalkin. What do the rules say? The strict rules say you can't do a second point during this same story. I made that a little looser because it's like it wants to make the pace at which you can increase specific things a lot slower. I change it so that if like a month passes, you can put another dot onto something that you already increased.
Okay, so it's not something I could do right now, but it is something I can do eventually.
Correct.
Okay.
I also wanted to mention that there's an option for downtime stuff. So if there's stuff that we kind of, if all of your characters want to do, but you want to hand wave away instead of like actually playing out those scenes, you could say that like at the next day, everyone wakes up, and then that whole day, you just say like, my character spends the day going here and working on this project. My character spends the whole day going here and working on this project. Okay, that was that whole day. Next day, we're actually going to, play out scene by scene what this day is. So we can fast forward through some big things. So like Augustine was just talking recently about going to Camp Moonlight and helping with their growing stuff. And Darby was talking about working with Jade and training her on like hunting stuff. Things like that might not be good for like actually playing out the scenes, but still might be good things for the characters to be doing. So there could be like off days where like once there's like a day break where all the characters go to sleep and then we do like, hey, next day, there could be a whole day where everyone is just saying like, for this whole day, I'm doing this thing or that thing. Also,
Okay.
it's an option to be like, for the first few hours of this day, I'm spending some time on this side project, and then we're all meeting up and doing group adventures. That way, some of these side projects that your character wants to actually make progress on, like, they aren't getting neglected, but we're also not playing out those scenes that might be boring to actually play out.
Okay. If I have tons of things I could do with that time, so if we ever run across a moment that you think would be advantageous,
Pretty much
Don't even-
in the break between, like, when you break between days. Makes the most sense to me.
okay. So I mean, like right now, almost.
Right now, I think is...
I mean, we're in the middle of a scene right now. There's cliffhanger. So it makes sense.
By my estimation, it's about, like, maybe
It's midday.
4 or 5 in the...
Late afternoon, midday.
Well, midnight.
Right.
But not
Oh.
midnight.
It's like 5 a.m.
Yeah, by my estimation, it's about like 5 a.m.
Oh, it's 5 a.m. in game right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, we gotta get hustling.
We've almost completed our first night's labor.
Or second, right?
Yeah.
Second.
Actually, I know I just said that whole thing about wanting to like level up later.
Actually,
I kind
it
of,
might just
I
be
think I
4.
figured out what I want to do, so I might just do some of it now.
What are you gonna do?
I do have some questions about it though, because I always do. In general, like, what do you guys feel is more worth it, like attributes or abilities? What lends more credence?
They generally get added together because there
Yeah.
are fewer attributes. Building an attribute is more statistically valuable because you combine them with more, they're useful in more situations, right? So
Yeah.
like if you're min-maxing,
And that's why they cost more, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I've seen my character being like thrust into this leadership thing. So even though he like ideally has his philosophy about like radical politics, like the other day I gained like presence and stuff. So I think like in tune with that, I want your guys' opinion on this. I'm thinking either a dot in charisma and a dot in leadership, or I'm kind of tempted to have him go down a direction where, since like everybody in the group like keeps fighting, I think I want him to have this kind of conflict where he's torn between like everybody being equal and making their own decisions, but like kind of goes down a darker path of wanting things his way. So I'm wondering if it might be more interesting to do like manipulation and intimidation.
I think that's really interesting. And part of the reason I say that is because Darby is very charismatic in a different way.
Yeah.
Just like his sort of bumpkin charm gets people to like him, happy-go-lucky sort of thing. And I think that Archibald's affect is much different than that. And I think he's very much playing to his audience. Like he reads people and then, gives them what they... I think he's good at that. Manipulation seems really right. I think it's very valuable as a dot, like just a practical dot.
Yeah, kind of using that like intelligence, because he is still kind of like awkward and bookish. So I almost like see him trying to use that to like his own ends and whatever he justifies that, and him kind of like going down like a darker path in a way with some of that.
The power's getting to him.
Yeah, like maybe like this idea of like he doesn't like the idea of leadership because he thinks power corrupts people, and then like he falls victim to that. I think could be a cool narrative arc. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So it's a new ability is 3 dots, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's 8 plus 3, 11, and I will subtract. Okay, so I think that's what I'm going to kind of do through all these experiences. He's just going to like keep begging people to get along, and eventually he's going to kind of be at his like wit's end and just kind of like, and he's already been using that a little bit, like using his pull with Darby, since Darby like so like he bows to authority. So maybe Archibald's getting like kind of a taste of that power and liking it more than he wants to.
Yeah, I mean, I Steve, am very much noticing that happening. Darby, very much not. Just thinks he's got a buddy, and that this is great.
Yeah, and I'm not stopping it.
Yeah,
Well,
and I
it's
think
been out of control, so I can get the power.
And I think at this point, Archibald thinks it's like a very buddy thing, and he's like, "Oh, cool, Darby, like we're in it together," and doesn't even. I don't think Archibald himself is like aware that he is like slipping down this path of like leaning on like the prince card.
It is really interesting too, because I think almost every reckless, crazy thing that Darby has done, with the exception of the bear attack because he was frenzying, has been at Archibald's request. Like, I think the escalation with the orchestra, I think multiple times that Darby had to get physical or show off, has been because Archibald said, even just now speeding against the cops, Archibald said gun it, and Darby was like, hell yeah, let's do this. Like, it really has been something that we've reinforced. So I think that's earned for sure.
Everyone's the devil on everyone is the devil on everyone else's shoulder, and no one has an angel on their shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Darby, I am trying to make Darby a good person. He just has all of these impulses that are so, counterproductive and self-defeating that it's pretty hard. But I would like to spend an off day working with Jade. And I think, and this is something like a little shameful for Darby, I think he's interested in getting her a deeper level of blood bond, and was pretty pissed that Archibald cock-blocked his blood bond with Barry.
So, Archibald, you were spending 3 points on dot of intimidation?
Yeah, he would like it to be charisma and leadership, but I think, it'll be more interesting going in those dots.
It's so funny. This is like going the opposite direction. Like, Darby doesn't want to manipulate people, but I think is so, frustrated by his inability to communicate and get what he wants with his intelligence or anything but his fists, that he's going down a dark path too. Like, he's looking to dominate. Like, I'm just gonna tell people what I need. I'm gonna get it and move on because I failed to do it the other way.
And Archibald has been begging everybody to just sit down, do a ropes course with me and do all this. And I think it's building to a boiling point where everybody's acting in so many of their own directions that he's like, no, we have to do things together, so do it my way, and doesn't see that conflict between those two things.
So you're spending 8 points on your third dot of manipulation?
Correct.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyone else want to spend anything?
Anybody else want to talk about their own character analyses and be really meta?
So, just given the context of what happened in this last session, I would like to get a point of investigation. Probably, it's actually pretty surprising that she wouldn't have that yet. I'd like to spend 3 points there. I also don't, according to this character sheet, I don't have a point in leadership, and I think what she has learned in these last, couple of sessions is trying to, instead of being so show-offy about being the best, she's just going to kind of let people fail around her and not stop them and try. And just like with Archibald and watching him kind of turn a little bit, she's not gonna stop that. She's gonna let it keep going until he is no longer fit to serve, and then as second in command, that's kind of part of her strategy too.
I really like this kind of brewing conflict between Archibald and Excavo.
Yeah,
so
I think her plant helper versus your Darby. I mean, it seems like that seems fair.
So
and that works because you have a conflict with Augustine because you're jealous.
That's what I'm saying.
Elizabeth is super into him now because of his green path.
He's on the green path.
So
look at the ultra cool tomato fucker. I mean,
Darby's just overcompensating with Jade so hard.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, that's all I want to do. It's just a point in investigation and then a point in leadership.
Right on.
Do you give XP rewards for accomplishing things?
Oh yeah, shit. I was going to give everybody. Everybody has been awarded 1 bonus experience point for waking Barry Bilson, which was going to be one of the big checkpoints of the one of the smaller checkpoints of the story. So everyone has 1 additional experience point.
Teacher's pet. checkpoint, dominate, level 1. For this guy, I'm spending all 10 of my banked XP on level 1 of dominate. Heck yeah, bonus XP.
Oh, you're only one behind.
Thanks for reminding me about that. I almost forgot.
So I guess, man, we have so much to do in this story. And it just keeps branching out. It's cool.
It's a very deep and rich world.
It's gonna start converging a little bit as dots start connecting.
Yeah,
I feel like once we hear from Barry, that's going to answer a lot of stuff. But then we still have like I was really glad that last week Excavo had the vision quest, because I was like, we need some more Excavo. We need to get to that like underground facility.
Yeah, that's part of what I'd want to do, and I feel like we all need to be there. I can't just do that on my off time.
Well, I'm surprised that we ended up going to Camp Moonlight before we went there, because that felt like the time-sensitive one to me.
Not much time.
Yeah, that's adventuring,
right? Like, I mean,
that's adventuring.
Not much time has really gone by.
This is toward the end of night 2.
Yeah, so we should be able to strike with some urgency, and I think Darby doesn't have much of an opinion, I guess. So if you guys choose that as our next target, I think Darby would willingly go along.
I know that's what Archibald would lean to.
Should we have rolled for? Oh, we didn't have time to feed, so I guess we don't really do that every time. Only if we get. Is that like if we get one of those days off? Then
can we feed on an off day?
Feeding roll.
You can feed whenever you want.
Okay.
But typically, if there's an off day, it's a given that you would roll to feed. And honestly, anytime you have a spare hour, you can roll to feed. So if you have an off day that you can just spend on projects, you have so many rolls you can do to feed that it might be silly to even do the rolls. We might as well just say everyone is at a full blood pool at the end of an off day, unless if they're like Augustine and they're specifically doing stuff that is making them spend a bunch of blood.
Right.
Or unless if they're like Darby and it's especially hard for them to get the right kind of blood.
Yeah. I mean, I'll definitely make some rolls.
Cool.
Well, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Dominate.
Good session.
Darby can't be trusted with that.
No, it's definitely going to be interesting with Darby having dominate.
All right. I'll see you guys next time.
Love you guys.
All right. Good
Awesome
game.
sesh.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.